My first guest is joining me in studio. We're going to discuss a company called Marani Brands. MRIB is their stock symbol. Of course, joining me is Margaret Aro. She is the CEO of the company. Margaret, always good to see you.
Same here, Don. Thank you for having me again.
And joining us also is Santiago Ramos, and you are the CEO of Zodiac Brands. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Margaret, we're going to get right into it. I know there's a lot to talk about this week, but distribution. I mean, there's been a lot of news about your distributions, and I know it's been substantial. Why don't you bring us up to date?
Sure. We're actually Marani's days away from rolling out its distribution throughout California, and at this point in Southern California is going to be our first rollout of our distribution. We have had such a huge demand for the product and request for it that thanks to Dan Centers, our Executive Vice President of our sales, he has created the distribution lines through a few distributors. We will be in approximately 8 states.
Wow.
We were rolling out the product in 8 states. We will be on-premise and off-premise. And the fact that the product is in such huge demand, we're having to bring the majority of the product that is prepared in Armenia into the U.S. market at first.
Wow. Because I know originally you have Dominican Republic contracts, you have Brazilian contracts, but you're going to try to transfer some of that product into the U.S. to meet the demand. Is that accurate?
Exactly. Very correct in that. Because we have received so much demand, and literally we're getting pretty close to pre-orders, and the distributors are ready to go. We're getting calls every day. We're literally few days away, I shouldn't say couple, few days away from rolling out our distribution of the product in the United States. And it will be rolling out into like I said, about 8 states.
Oh, wow.
And we have, Don has done such a phenomenal job, and being a veteran of the wine and spirit industry, the company has made an incredible choice by bringing him on board and using his expertise to alleviate me and some of the management from having to deal with the domestic market, since he's an expert at it.
Now, Santiago, speaking of a wonderful choice, I know that you've been spearheading a lot of these fantastic promotions the company has been involved in. I mean, we've talked about Vogue, we've talked about Bloomingdale's, all these big names. You're a brand specialist. Tell us what you see about this product that got you so excited.
Well, I've worked with Marani for over 10 years, and I've been a big fan of the product. I love the product, the idea that the product has a concept behind it. Mm-hmm. It's more than just a spirit. It has a concept, it has an image, it has a brand behind it. And right now we've been doing the Vogue event, and we've been getting constant demands on doing events on the A-list level. We've already worked a deal with Mercedes Fashion Week in London, and we have people constantly calling us through editors of Condé Nast and worldwide.
That's fantastic. Now, I know that you had submitted your contracts to FINRA. Why don't you tell us about that? Because that's something that I've not heard of a company doing before, unless they're asked. But give us that information.
I'm going to read this to you so I don't make mistakes.
Perfect.
And my eyes don't see too well for reading. Marani Brands sent FINRA's office, OFDMI, all contracts that are related to press releases for review, including our international paperwork for mass distribution. After review, there were no violations of the rules of FINRA or federal securities laws.
Okay, so that's very good. So basically now you proceed business as usual, distribution contracts. As you said, you're days away from the California. It's a California distribution license. Is that what we're days away from?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, when you receive a California distribution license, it allows you to do distribution in other states.
I see.
And Dan Centers, being the expert he is at building brands and working for major distilleries and companies, we've already set up the applications, all the necessary paperwork to submit all the different states that the product's going to be in. One of the things it is happening is we are going to be delayed slightly in shipping our international shipments due to the demand we have in the United States at this point. But that's not a major issue for the company, since all of our partners, both in Brazil, Dominican Republic, they're willing to work with us in order for us, when we do launch the brand in those countries, we will do it with an appropriate fanfare and a launching of the brand that befits Marani.
Marani Brands Incorporated, MRIB is their stock symbol. Santiago, Margaret, great update. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Don.